Hello, we're here again. How are you?
I'm good, are you?
Yeah, I'm very good. Very, very good. We're in a new location. We're like, well, I'm
Yeah.
not. I'm always in the same location,
No,
but
you're always playing Jane in the corner there, aren't you? At the
sat in
same
my cupboard,
Harry Potter.
literally not far off. So, how are you?
um,
How are you anyway?
I'm all right. The first week, I had to drag my ass there like that last week. Obviously, everything. It's nice, like honestly, on the last episode about recapping everything that you've done, but then it's getting yourself in the frame of mind ready to action it and get it sorted. So like the
Mm,
first week back, it's always, like when people go on about that bit in between Christmas and New Year, it's like that
yeah.
random week that like you don't really know what happens. I love that week because that week's the only week in the full year where no one gives a shit about insurance and no one wants to do anything like that. So it gives me my brain automatically like goes relaxed and I can
Yeah.
actually just sit and chill and do nothing and eat crap and watch telly and like that bit in between I love. It's
It
the
is
week
funny that
back.
nobody cares.
No one gives a
Insurance.
shit. Honestly,
Like, I
those
literally, my emails, I had like nothing. I remember
yeah.
thinking, like, I was like, what? Like, surely. And then I would look online and nothing's happening.
Yeah.
And so it's like,
It
oh,
doesn't
okay.
that it's like a random lost week that everyone just like disappears and I love it because it means that I can actually officially switch off because whenever you go on holiday or you have time off, you know that the rest of the world is working in the background.
Hmm.
So subconsciously, I never actually 100% switch off because my brain knows that everyone else is still working.
Yeah.
But that week is amazing. So I love that week. And loads of people like talk quite negatively about it, say like it's dead bad, it's like really drags, it's depressive. I love it. It's the first week back that I think's harder because I've let my brain shut
Hmm.
and then restart has to be like from right straight back into it. It's like Jesus Christ, like give me a leg up here trying to get through this week.
See,
So
I'm the opposite. I'm like you. So at that time between Christmas and New Year, so like I'm like decorations come down on Boxing Day. So they come down your face. They come down on Boxing Day, and we're back to you like blasphemy. And then they come and then I'm back to like work the day after Boxing Day.
no,
And me and my wife go back to like normal routine. And then we and then I love that I've got that week to get ahead of everybody else who's dossing. And then so then when the first week hits, and then you have that other week, as you say, which is great as well, because the first week of January as well is a bit like everyone's like you, like what you're saying, like, oh, what's going on? And by that point, I'm like, oh, it doesn't matter. I'm like, so in that week between Christmas, so between that Christmas and like now, I am scheduled up. I think I've shot what 96 podcast episodes.
oh, you're a freak. You're a freak. You're an absolute
I love
freak,
that.
Nick.
And it's
I
like the
mean,
first. I'm the my first quarter of of the year is already recorded in that first
oh,
week.
well, I got through a quarter of my fridge in the first week, so that's about as much as
That's
I did. I'm all right. That was my reward for the year. So
So have you felt a
that's
bit jolted back to reality then in the last
just like
week?
the first week. The first week was obviously you just like got getting yourself back into it, and it's horrible because you spend so much time with the kids without having to do anything. Like I proper miss the kids after Christmas.
Yeah,
Like
I do feel that.
weird. And then this week, well, end of last week and beginning of this week, it's all about like, right, the first week we've decided what we're going to do. So we've recapped what we've achieved. This is what we want to try and achieve for this year coming. This is what I want to try and get to, and then how I'm going to do it. So, like, the end of last week was really good because it was obviously the first year that I've had a team and needed to do like one-to-ones and set
Yeah.
their goals and be like, I suppose, on the other side of it. So where I've always had to like just manage my own expectations and manage my own like what I want to get to by this point and this point, it's going helping other people to do it. And to be honest, I was if they watch this now, they'll laugh. But like I was cringing when I was doing it because it was the first ever one-to-ones I'd done, and I was like, how the hell do I do this? Because I am just like I am all the time. I'm like trying to be professional, but I can't be professional because I feel like I've got too much of a good relationship with them. But I wasn't doing it. How do I explain it? Like, I was doing it at the same time, like trying to think like, how am I going to be professional and still keep a good relationship with them? Because I don't want them to think, oh my God, you're just being a dick.
Yeah.
But I was really good at it. Like, I felt like really comfortable in it, like getting them to sort of explain what they wanted to achieve, and then looking at how I could help them was really rewarding. And it made me feel more motivated for me, because I was like, well, do you know what? If I can help these do this, this, and this, how much is that going to make me feel mint? Like, that I've helped them do that. And then it puts I think it puts you on like the next level for yourself, because it's quite easy setting your own goals and hitting your own goals because you've only got yourself, but trying to get 6 people's goals set, made and met, and your own is a different story. Like, that's a hell of a lot more complicated. So
it's difficult as well when you're trying to, was a real lesson with what I do. Like, with you are good, but like, it was me and you think of things very differently, and that was a really weird, like, with everyone I work with, it was like that kind of thing of like, oh wait a minute, like my goals and the way what motivates me doesn't motivate you. How can you get to a common ground and find something that will motivate them? That's quite hard. And and especially if you're like yourself, where you're a high achiever and you're like, I'm just going to take 100% accountability to what I do, which is what you do. It's quite difficult. And I can imagine, was it surreal being like the first, because it's like your first proper like year starting with a team. The year before there's no team, now all of a sudden you're like the boss.
Yeah.
Was that quite surreal?
It was really, really strange. Like, and that's what I felt uncomfortable about, because I thought, I don't want to do it wrong for them or for me. But it's like, there's that fine line, isn't there, between like when you're setting goals, preaching and feeling like you're telling people what to do and helping them get to what they want to do. So it might not help anyone, but the way I tried to do it was, I said to them, I sent them out an email and said, right, I want to do one-to-ones, and I want 5 personal, 5 professional goals for the year. And we're going to work it basically in stages. And when this came in the meeting, I was like, right, I'm not really bothered about your professional goals. I want your personal goals, because to me, I genuinely believe if you're a happy person and you're happy in yourself, you will naturally be better at your job, because happy people sell better, and 2, you enjoy going to work more because you're in a better frame of mind. So there's no point in me sitting here telling them or speaking to them about targets and what they want to achieve if the things that is most important to them isn't done right in the first place. So that's the foundation. So I was like, right, what are your personal goals? And then instead of just being like, right, because at first I thought, I'm going to do with each of them, I'm going to do a vision board.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know why
Don't worry, just crack on. It'll figure itself out.
I look like I'm very scared there. Like, it wants to hurry up and get back to normal, because that's a disgusting image. How do we make that go off?
How do you make it go off?
Why is it?
Bring my beautiful face on front of it. It's all right. You can keep talking. Keep talking. We can hear you.
On. No, I want to see me. Show me me. Why was it?
Turn your camera off and on again.
Right, hold on. Stop.
She's gone. I love it.
Back on now.
Yeah. Back on. Love it.
I look like a pigeon who's about to be ran over. That's what I look like. So
we can hear crystal clear. That was the problem. You're just talking. And
So I was like, should I do a vision board? And then I thought, well, I like vision boards and I think they're brilliant. But realistically, that vision board isn't giving them a path to get there. It's just showing them the destination.
Yeah.
So I said, so what I thought in my head was, I'm going to do goals, personal goals. And then instead of just saying like, right, this is what I want. So say, for example, one of them said, I want to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. You want to go to the gym. Instead of me just putting gym, I was like, gym, right. So when? Well, what do you mean? When are you going to do it? Well, 3 times a week. Okay. 3 times a week. What time? Well, at this time. Okay. So then by the time we get to end of quarter one, you'll have been to the gym 36 times or how many times it was. So I can hold you accountable that you are going to say that you will do this for this amount. Because then, and I was like, instead of, because I've learned through my own mistakes, when you sort of set targets, again, there's a fine line between wanting to achieve as much as possible, but putting so much pressure on yourself that you feel like you're that far away that failing just seems easier rather than just like, so I was like, instead of, say one of them said, I'm going to go 5 times a week. I was like, no. If you go 5 times a week, that's a bonus, well done. But what's your bare minimum that you want to achieve every week? And if you can hit your bare minimum every week, I would rather you do a consistent minimum than fail at a maximum after 3. So like, let's work on a consistency, a level that you're happy to be consistent at.
Minimum standard, isn't it? It's the minimum standard.
Because then when it comes to it, it's all like everything you do, the way you think about it is, it's all going to go hand in hand. If I'm sitting here telling you to achieve X, Y, and Z, and you think it's unachievable, you're failing before it's even started. Yeah. Whereas if you're telling me this is the bare minimum, then when you think about not going or you think about not doing it, you should remind yourself, hold on, that was my absolute bare minimum. If I can't do that, what am I doing? Like, that's my absolute minimum. Do you know what I mean? Like, so I worked it like that, and it was amazing. I've never done a one-to-one before, but I felt, and the feedback I got from all of them was that it was really, really motivating and refreshing, because they felt like it felt, and I felt it, that they were taking control of it. I was just sort of guiding them like basically just giving them accountability. And sometimes that's all people need is accountability, or someone to say, what do you think? Or can I just have some sort of, like when me and you were saying before about having that having someone like hold you accountable for it, like rather than them just thinking if I don't do it, I'm only letting myself down.
Yeah, it's massive.
So like the things they've got, so what they've got in turn is they did a one-to-one. We set out what you want to achieve, how you're going to do it, when you're going to do it, and what your accountability is for it. And then at the end of the quarter one, we'll assess it all and see where they failed, where they did well, where they needed to improve. But from that, like I sent them it all over, like bullet pointed with each thing that they'd said and how they were going to do it. That's technically their vision board now. So their vision board is they can see it in front of them, not only with what they want to achieve, but how they're going to achieve it. Yeah. And like, it was so good. Like over the weekend, a couple of them had already started doing the things they said they were going to do without me even asking. And I said to them, and this might sound awful, everyone's different, aren't they? So I don't really care if someone doesn't agree with me, because it's not their business.
Well, it's also not their show, so they can piss off. Yeah. It doesn't matter.
So,
it's only you saying what you're the expert in your life, no.
But like, I just think if that to me is saying that if your bare minimum is this and you can't stick to that bare minimum, then I'm not going to waste my very, very precious time trying to encourage you to do more than your bare minimum is not enough for you to stay like that. Then what am I doing? I'm an idiot, because that thing, like, I love that Michael Jordan, that Save the Last Dance, or the Last Dance.
The Last Dance thing is called. I'm gonna have to watch that again.
Film. Yeah, I want to watch it again. I said to one of the girls to watch it, but like that trailer that I love about Michael Jordan, when he says, you can think what you want, but what I would never ask you to do something that I wouldn't do myself. Mm-hmm. And that's genuinely how I think about everything. If I ever ask anyone to do something, I think, would I do that? And if I wouldn't ask them to do it. I'd just do it myself. I would never expect anyone to do something I wouldn't expect for myself to do. But the problem is my level, I'm a bit of a weirdo in terms of like, I'm
with you on that,
obsessed with being consistent. I'm obsessed with working hard. I'm obsessed with not letting myself down. I'm not inhuman. Now, you do now and again, that's just life. But I mean, on a 90% out of 100, I'm quite dedicated and disciplined. So it's hard sometimes for me to get inside the brain of someone else who hasn't got that. And I'm like, I'm aware that everyone hasn't got it. And that's the part I need to learn. And like, my own goal for this year is to like sit back, like I was saying to you before the start of this, like sit back, realize that if I don't do something, it's not the end of the world. Mm-hmm. I can chill out. It's not worth having a breakdown over that I haven't done the things I said I was going to do, because sometimes we just need to chill out. But that's only because I've done what I've done for the past 3 years that I feel I'm at a point where I can do that.
I did a post this morning about work-life balance. It's not out. It's not going to be out for about a month, maybe a bit longer. And it's funny what you're talking about here, because me and you have a very similar ethos and work ethic on this type of stuff. And I was saying about work-life balance is like, as you said, you shouldn't beat yourself up about this. Work-life balance is a real thing. This is my take on it. And people don't like this, but it's like this idea of with that work-life balance is very much real. Everyone's balance is different. The issue I find with a lot of stuff when it comes to work-life balance, and you said about like with you, is a lot of people use it who are actually out of balance because they're just lazy. And it's a similar, so with people like yourself, like sometimes we over-index the other side. So it's like, I find that a lot of people who are like, oh, you need work-life balance. They're normally people who suck at their jobs and not achieving the goals they want. And so I do believe in balance. I do believe that if you've worked really, really hard, you deserve to spend time.
You can be the other way as well, can't you? Be like someone who like very, very successful. But if you
never sees the kids or anything,
10 minutes to wipe your ass or to sit down and chill out or take a week off and enjoy what you've done, what you're doing it for?
Yeah. Like, and you've got to find that balance, but most people go either side.
Yeah.
They don't, and then they use that excuse as the thing. And I think that's hard, especially when you're managing people. When that'll be something that when what they feel, I found that really hard. The thing about what I do, like, is helping people. It was literally like, do a video. I mean, this is what I mean. You've worked together so long because you do this stuff, but it'd be like, do the video. And then if I get someone go, oh, well, I was really busy and I couldn't really do the video. In my mind, I'm like, I can't compute that.
Yeah.
Because, and the problem is I also have you now as like one of my longest clients going, and that person doesn't compute that. So, and then they say, but don't come in front of me and tell me you want to be like Carla.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know.
If you can't be bothered to make a video and you don't even know why you couldn't be bothered.
That's it. Like, and that's the thing with this. That's why I thought about doing a minimum, because then if I can say, for me, like trying to help other people with it, like from the way I thought of it was, if you are giving someone a goal and you're actually telling them that that's their bare minimum that they can achieve to do. If they can't do that, they haven't got much hope of achieving out else for me. Like, so instead of, if I say, I want to speak to 100 clients in a year, that's my bare minimum.
Yeah.
My brain is, well, you're going to do 500.
Yeah.
Like, but if I can say my bare minimum's 100 and I achieve that, then well done.
Happy with yourself. You've done your thing. Yeah.
You've done what you set out you were going to do. But sometimes it's like what I find hard and can be quite demotivating the other ways when you set targets that are so high and then you don't achieve them and you feel like shit. So I didn't want to do that to them, because a lot of them, it's the first full year doing like self-employed sales, and it can be very, very, very demanding and
hard.
Discipline, remembering why you're doing it, sticking to what your structure is, for me, are the key things to make sure that you stay successful and consistent. And it's for anyone out there who wants to set goals, you need to understand what your bare minimum is you're happy to accept from yourself. And if you can't achieve that, then you need to reevaluate what you're doing and go back to the drawing board, because that should be your absolute, what is my bare minimum I'm willing to commit to and be consistent with. And if you do that consistently over and over again, by the end of Q1 in beginning of April, you will be a hell of a lot further forward, even just doing the bare minimum. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it'll get you somewhere. So you're better off moving forward than standing still. So even if you're moving forward at one step at a time, you're still going to get the destination quicker than you are if you go backwards.
Absolutely. So what is your end, like, closing statement for this one?
Closing, just that, like, work out. I just think if it's not written, it won't happen. So if you think something and you want to achieve something, make sure you put it down and make sure you have a plan as to how you're going to get there, because it's very easy to pluck out dreams and things. But dreams, what is that saying? Dreams will always be dreams unless there's a plan to achieve. And it's throwing yourself into it. There's a brilliant speech. I've spoke about it before, but whenever I feel like I need to be motivated, I listen to it. It's on YouTube. It's Denzel Washington. It's called Fall Forward. Okay. My God, just watch that and you'll get it. Yeah.